study guide for section 2.2. At the top, they tell you the definition of between. Point B is between points A and C, as long as the three are collinear. It looks like this. Point B is between because segment AC is the biggest segment length. That'll come in handy a little bit later. Numbers 1 and 2, very familiar exercise. They're asking you which point is between the other two. Find your biggest segment. Those are the endpoints of the biggest segment. So it's not N and it's not Q. So point K is between. Three through 5 is a little more challenging. For each of the following, we have to draw the missing point, then use the information given to write coordinates of all 3 points. So here's some info. They tell you that these are the two little segments. Little plus little equals big. That's your big one. From C to D is 3. We can mark that. That's a length. C to D is 3. From D to F is 5. The coordinate of point C is 20. So we'll put its coordinate down here. So we know that lives at 20, and D lives 3 units to the right. So we know D lives at 23. Now we have to figure out where F lives. Well, segment CF is definitely the biggest of the 3 segments. So that means F has to live over here somewhere. Well, where does it live? It lives 5 units from point D. So put it in a spot where you think it looks like it's 5 units away. And if it's 5 units away, the coordinate of it would be 28. Okay? We'll do the next one together as well, and then we'll leave number 5 for you to try. Here's the segment addition postulate. 2 littles equal a big. This length plus this length equals that length. M to K is 6. We don't have an M yet. But K to P is 4. The coordinate of M is negative 25. Okay? Well, segment MP is the longest segment. This is the big segment. So that means M must be away furthest from P. So it's got to be over here somewhere. We know it's 6 units away from K. So I'm going to put it here because this 6 is a little bit bigger than that 4. And they're telling you that that M lives at negative 25. Point K is 6 units to the left of that. So that would be at negative 31. And then point P is 4 units to the left of that. So that would live at negative 35. I know that's a trickier one because it's got negatives and we're kind of working back to the left there. But you just kind of go with what they give you and fill in the stuff that they're asking for. Okay, bottom part says draw a figure for each situation. Points M, A, N, and Q are collinear. Point N is between points A and Q. So I just kind of did this where I put point N in between point A and point Q. Point M is not between point A and point Q. So that would leave M there. Something like that would work. You can do it different ways. Sometimes the best thing to do is just draw it and see what happens. If you need to adjust from there, you can. Number 7, points N, Q, W, C, and E are collinear. Now they're telling you that point N is going to bisect segment CE. So there's segment CE, And if point N bisects it, then I know those pieces are the same. Point W is going to bisect segment NE. So point W is going to be directly in between point N and point E. And then point Q is the midpoint of segment WE. So here's segment WE. Point Q is the midpoint of it, so it's directly in between. So I kind of wish I would have spaced that out a little bit better. I didn't really plan ahead, I just kind of drew it. Now if I had a pencil, maybe I would erase this and kind of spread those out a little bit better. But this works too, it's just a little scrunched. Number 8, point J, point Y, point G, and point K are collinear. Point G is the midpoint of segment KJ, and they're telling you that segment KJ is congruent to segment JY. So maybe I'll spread this one out a little bit better. So there's segment KJ. If point G is the midpoint of it, that means these two little segments are equal. Now they're also telling you that segment KJ is congruent to segment JY. So this length from here to here has to be the same as the distance from J to Y. It's really hard to kind of show that since we already have marks here. I guess we could do something like this. We could kind of make up our own length. That would show that point J is the midpoint, or segment KJ is congruent to segment JY. Okay, last one, points B, Z, T, and R are collinear. Point B is the midpoint of segment RT, and point T is between points B and Z. So if B is the midpoint of segment RT, we'll indicate that with those marks. Now point T is between point B and point Z. So all that means is Z needs to be over here somewhere. And you could make it really, really close to point T, or really far away, or somewhere in between.